Hello class, this is Coach Holmes, and today we're going to be talking about writing algebraic expressions from English. Because there may be times where you have to face like a word problem and you just have to figure out, what is this saying to me? What is this saying about this algebraic expression, which is basically a mathematical statement. So there's different types of examples that we think of that basically algebraic. So like for example, if we hear the word sum, we know that has something to do with adding. That has something to do with adding two numbers. It's like the sum of two numbers. That's one example of what we're trying to work on. So one example is sum, another example is added to. Like 5 is added to 7. Just a basic example. And here's some of the others. For addition anyways, total plus increased by let me make sure. Oh, I think we go. This one's a little bit tougher one. More than, which we'll talk about how this will work in a second. Now, next step is subtraction. Okay, what's some of the words that we think of when it comes to subtracting? Well, the answer of the number that is subtracted from 2 is basically a difference. Okay. Another way we say subtraction would be minus. 2 minus a number. That's one example. Subtracted from. Decreased by. And then we have less than. Which the way we work this out is similar to more than plus subtraction. Now, it may look like a dot, but this is just multiplying, okay? Because nowadays, anytime we see x, we know it's just a variable, not multiplying, more often than not. Okay? So another example is the answer of two numbers multiplying each other is called a product. I messed up that O bad. Okay? So the product of 2 and 5 will be 10, for example. Also, we say 2 times a number, because we've been saying times quite a bit. Multiply by. Also, words can actually also tell us what they're multiplying by. Like for example, twice the amount. Twice means just multiplying it by 2. We also heard the word double before. That means 2 as well. If I double the number of apples that I have, I don't know why I said apples, but you get the idea. If I double the number of apples, I'm multiplying each apple by 2. Okay? Now divide, two numbers divided by each other is called a quotient. Okay? We can also say divided by. Per is a good example of something we hear. Like yards per, like miles per hour. You know, that's miles divided by the number of hours that you drive. That's what that per means. It means divide, because we're dividing the miles per number of hours. Also, we use half quite a bit. That's another example. Because half of the amount or half the time, that's just telling us, oh, I'm just dividing it by 2. So here's some of the examples that we have to keep in mind, okay? These are just examples that we may see, and then maybe we'll probably expand a little bit more, and I got y'all guided practice to work on for something maybe a little bit bigger, but not too much bigger. But we can actually figure out what this is telling us. So for example, 5 more than a number x. Now, I want y'all to be careful with these two phrases right here, more than and less than. Less than is going to be, we can work less than similarly to the top, but I want to explain something for a minute. Because it does make a difference as far as how you write the operation. Because when I say more than, I'm saying that this number right here, in this case x, is bigger than 5, or at least it's increased by 5. That's what more than tells me, is that this number is added by 5. So what I want to do, and I'm going to do it in blue so that way you see the difference, is I'm going to switch these 2's out to get x and a 5. And of course I know more than it has to do with addition. So I'm going to say x plus 5. Okay? Less than works the same way. This number x is subtracted from 3. It's less than 3 numbers. So again, I want to switch these 2 out so that x is here, 3 is here. We know less than is having to do with subtraction. So it's going to be x minus 3. I'm going to box these real quick so that way we know. Those are the answers we're looking for. Now the reason why I say this is because I want to write this in green. Just so that way we know it's not the answer. 3 minus x is not the same answer. Because there is a huge difference between 5 minus 2 and 2 minus 5. It just comes out where one's positive, one's negative. So they're not necessarily the same. So that's something to be aware of. Now, on the other hand, x plus 5 is technically the same thing as 5 plus x. But I want y'all to understand that when it says more than or less than, I need to switch the values, I need to switch the numbers and put add or minus accordingly. Okay? So now let's look at this one. 7 times a number c. So we know 7 times c is what it's saying. And really, I don't have to put the dot in between. I can say 7c and be done with it. That's it. Twice y. So twice y. So again, twice basically means 2 times. Because if I have twice the amount, I basically double what I have. So 2y is going to be my answer. Y divided by, y divided among 3. Okay? So if I have y amount and I have 3 people, I got to divide it out evenly. That's what divided among would mean. So I'm going to say y over 3, which is the same thing as y divided by 3. Now, half of b. I know whatever b is half of that. So that's going to be my answer for that problem. And that's basically all we're trying to do. We're just trying to set it up. We're not worried about solving it right now. We're not worried about figuring out what the y is, what the b is, or what the x is. All we worry about today is being able to set up algebraic expressions from words or English, from the English word. Okay? So the biggest thing you got to keep in mind is that whatever it tells me to do, I got to understand which four operations it's talking about. Is it talking about addition? Is it talking about subtraction, multiplication, division? Just be aware of what the words you're using to tell us, rather than it's multiplying, dividing, adding, or subtracting. Okay? Thank you. Have a good day.